welcome to 2 cents short of a dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your hosts. That's Motiz, and I'm Rude. So today, I want to talk about a big fight coming up. Huge fight for Japan, right? Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani. The build-up's been happening for a while now, but it's finally here. It's happening this weekend. I guess you want to say it's for all the marbles, not only the belts, but like this is going to be the king of Japan, right? At least at this division,
Yeah,
right? So big fight. I want to say to some extent opposing styles. I mean, not just because one is orthodox, one is southpaw. They fight different. So when you look at this fight, right, and I know right now people are a bit cold on Nakatani because of his fight with Hernandez, the last fight, but styles make fights, and you never know if he just didn't get up for that fight. He's going to get up for this fight. So did that last fight for Nakatani change your perception on how good this fight could be?
slightly. Maybe an off night. I'm chalking it up to an off night. It can happen. But it did show holes in Nakatani's game that I feel like Inoue can for sure exploit.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of showed the separation between the two fighters. I don't think when was the last time we've seen Inoue even look human, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it showed a difference in experience between both fighters. But on the other side of the spectrum, you do have Junto Nakatani, aka the Big Bang, may use that as fuel to really come into this fight and really show his A game, right? Because his, regardless of what you want to say, if I was in Nakatani's shoes, I would rather have an off night in the last fight versus
Mm-hmm.
fighting Naoya in a way.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. When you look at the two, just from what I was seeing on screen, it looks like Nakatani has a notable size advantage. Are you getting that too when you look at them on screen?
Yeah, he's bigger. He's bigger than
But
in a way.
because I don't know, when I look at the actual measurements on BoxRec, it just doesn't seem to be doing them justice. I think it's saying Nakatani's like barely an inch and a half taller,
No way.
and it's saying his reach is only like 1 inch taller. I'm just like,
No,
it feels more drastic than what BoxRec is telling me.
1,000,000%. Boxrec don't know. No. He's clearly taller than. He got him by at least 2 inches,
Yeah,
and his reach is it's, and I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing that in a way has to kind of get through,
yeah.
just that reach.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start talking about the fight a little bit and not all the extra stuff. Now, on the topic of the reach, right? We know Nakatani, he likes to use, Southpaw likes to use that kind of like probing jab, wants you to bait. I'm assuming, I don't know what his game plan is, but I'm assuming he's going to use the probing jab to try to keep Naoya Inoue at bay, hoping that Inoue jumps in and then he can land that big left, that short left, the way he likes to land. Um, are you seeing that as Nakatani's game plan, or are you saying, hey, I don't know what he's going to do to be able to keep Inoue off of him?
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Juto could crack, and I can see him dropping in a way. In a
Hmm.
way, has been getting dropped as he moved up in the higher weight classes. And Junto being a big puncher, although Naoya anyway has more knockouts, but Junto has been coming up in weight classes. I would say out of the two, I think in a way is the more accurate puncher, but I do think Junto is probably the bigger puncher out of the two.
Yeah.
And in a way, with his style jumping in and out, he can get clipped very
Hmm.
easily. I just don't know how Junto's going to set it up. I don't know if he's going to kind of really just try to outbox him on the outside or really try to pressure. I think in a way is going to be the one pressuring uh,
Hmm.
Nakatani, and I think Nakatani is going to kind of stick to try to box and move and really kind of try to capitalize on that left hand, whether it's left uppercut or left overhand. But I would probably say the smartest thing for him, and I would think he's going to try to outbox Inoue. But I'm not sure. He's saying that he's looking at the Crawford fight. I don't know what he can take from the Crawford and Canelo fight.
Hmm.
Out of, I would say, Inoue not throwing too many punches, but his
Hmm.
volume is still a lot higher than Canelo's. So I don't know what he can take from Crawford's performance against Canelo.
Yeah, and Inoue obviously has the speed advantage, the experience advantage. But I was looking, as I mentioned earlier, I was on BoxRec and I was kind of going through Inoue's resume. He's fought a good amount of southpaws, so I don't think the style is going to throw him off. Obviously, we always have the opportunity for like the headbutt clashes and whatnot, but he's fought quite a bit of southpaws, and kind of just watching some tape, like he's pretty good at like going to the body,
Yep.
like that jab to the body on the southpaws, setting something up over the top, right? And I've seen him be fast enough to land the 1-2 past southpaws, right? So his speed is definitely something to watch out for. But now let me ask you this. People complain having to travel to Japan. It's difficult to acclimate, to like wrap up your training camp there. The dieting is different, everything is different. Now, even playing field there, right? Even playing field there. Do you think, with that being said, we're going to get some kind of like merit to what people have been saying now that we're going to see him fighting someone from Japan as well, that doesn't have to worry about the travel and the dieting? Do you think we're going to see a closer fight and say, hey, maybe some of those guys had a point?
I mean, I don't think the travel has any effect, right? Because most of the fights, like Inoue has fought a lot of Japanese fighters, a lot of Asian fighters. He also had, I think, a couple fights in the US as well,
Hmm.
which he stopped, I believe, every person he fought in the US as well. So that in and of that tells me that regardless if it's in the US or in Japan, he's still going to perform. Now the question is, obviously that has an effect, but I don't think it's tremendous enough to give Nakatani that much of an advantage going into this fight.
Okay.
I really what it comes down to, I'm curious to know is if Nakatani has great timing
Hmm.
and really his physicality as he fights Inoue Inoue, because we know Inoue Inoue is quick, and
Yeah.
you mentioned his speed is definitely going to be something that Nakatani is going to have to figure out. But I'm curious to know if Nakatani could kind of out time him. But in terms of just the logistics, home court advantage, they both got home court advantage the way I look at it. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So before we get into predictions, just want to, do you know if there's any rematch clause here, or if is this just like a one and done fight?
I think it's a one and done fight,
Okay.
from what I
All right.
know. I could be
So
wrong though, but I believe it's a one and done.
yeah, because I mean, you have more expertise on the subject matter here. I'm gonna defer to you first and ask you, who do you think is gonna win, and how do you think they're gonna win?
Man, listen, you see that guy right there? You see that guy right there? The monster. Man, listen, he's gonna stop Nakatani. He's gonna
You got
stop.
him. You got him stopping Nakatani.
Got him stopping him in the ninth round.
Ninth. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think this fight is gonna go the distance. I think because I think they're both gonna fight as if they're gonna have to commit. See, Puku,
Hmm.
I'm probably mispronouncing it, but back in feudal era, Japan, where they have to kind of stab themselves in the gut and rip open the stomach while the other person kind of slices their heads off. But I believe that they're gonna go for war because this is the pride of the nation on their backs, right? This is
Yeah.
something they're like you mentioned, the best in Japan. And when was the last time we've seen a mega fight like this in Japan? So it's there's a lot on the line, and I do think Inoue is going to come out victorious with the stoppage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry if I'm looking off camera here. I just wanted to see the odds of what you're telling me is gonna happen, right?
Uh,
So coming into the fight, anyway, minus 450. So you have to bet at $450 on Inoue to win 100, but you bet 100 on Nakatani. If he wins, you get 310 back, right? So now I just want to find out if I can figure out, let me see, the
Interesting.
stoppage. If I can find out a ninth round stoppage.
What that
Okay.
would look like.
Um, yeah, I don't want to get too deep into this, but right now I see like so let's say if Inoue stops him between round 7 and round 9 plus 440. So if you bet $100 on that, you win $440 back. So me being a betting man, you telling me he's gonna stop him in the ninth. Listen, I may go put $100 on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I might too. I'm not a gambling man, but I think I might. I think I'm probably gonna go that route. I
I'm,
think I'm
I'm
probably gonna go that route.
Yeah, but all right. All jokes aside, so I've been watching some film, trying to catch up on this one, and you know, each each of them have their thing, right? Like I said, Nakatani, I don't know what I would call his stance, right? He kind of like to leave that lead hand out there, right? I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, long guard. I don't know what the proper term is for it, right? But in a way, I've seen Inoue have a lot of success against people using the high guard, and Nakatani isn't necessarily using that high guard, right? And I think the length and the activity of the jab can cause issues, but I do think Inoue has the better feet, which is going to lead to him ultimately having the advantage in this one. And but the thing about Inoue though is he's usually so fast that he can get in and get out. But I've seen him getting out on a straight line, right? He does a lot of getting out on a straight line.
That's true. That is
And
true.
I'm just wondering, I'm just like that left hand, is the length long enough to get there on the exit? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I say that to say I'm trying to find ways how Nakatani could win this fight, which ultimately shows me that I believe Inoue is gonna win, right? Because I'm thinking about the what ifs. What can Nakatani do? So I would have to say me right now. I have Inoue winning it, but I think it's gonna go the distance. He probably wins by UD. I think Nakatani is gonna put on a better performance in this fight than his last fight, and like you
I
said,
agree.
I think it was an off night, and I think if people are expecting that same version of Nakatani, I think they're going to be in for a surprise. So I got Inoue by UD in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight.
Yeah,
And I mean, I'm going to have to sacrifice some sleep for that just to wake up and really watch that fight.
yeah.
But
What is it? 5 in the morning our time,
yeah, it's about like 5 in the morning approximately. So, but
but like Saturday though, right? Saturday, 5 in the morning.
Saturday going into, I believe, going into, yeah, it's actually 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, Saturday.
3 a.m.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Bro, I got a
Yeah, I think
kid.
I think that's when the card starts, but I think they fight at 8 a.m.
Okay, at
That's when the
8 a.m.
card starts. The
Well, you
card
think
starts.
they fight at 8 a.m.?
Yeah, they'll fight like 7 a.m., 8
5
a.m.
hours
I'll
worth
look
of
at them soon.
undercards is insane. Okay,
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of wild. So yeah, they got them projected to projection in main event ring walk is 8 a.m. projection.
okay,
So
that's fair. I'll be up by that time. 3 a.m. is a little tough, but I'll be up by that time.
yeah, so I'm gonna be up tuned in for sure.